Hello everyone, my name is TurboTony19. How are you doing there today? And it's been ages since I've done a video on my main channel, but we're going to play a little bit of Guild Wars 2 here today, so let's have a look. Wait a minute, this is Guild Wars 2. This is something a little bit special. I thought maybe we'll go back and have a quick look at the very first game in the series. This is Guild Wars 1. And the reason why I'm doing that there today is because a lot of the people that I've met in Guild Wars 2 actually tend to be new players to the series. Guild Wars 2 seems to be their actual gateway into Tyria as a whole, and a lot of them haven't even played the first game, so I thought it would be really interesting to actually go through some of the changes in Guild Wars 1, show you the UI, some of the interesting places, the changes in the map, and some of the other campaign maps that maybe you haven't seen there before. This is my main character here that was in Guild Wars 1. You probably haven't seen him in Guild Wars 2 because I didn't make him. I actually you see, most of you, if you've seen my videos before, you see that Poika is my main character, and there she is. That's her in the first game. But for all intents and purposes, my Dervish was my main character. So let's just jump straight in. And I just recently re-downloaded and installed this because I actually went through and I wanted to have a quick look at all the little mini pets and stuff that you get, because you do get some upgrades and everything in Guild Wars 2. But I thought it would be good to have a quick look and just go back into the game and just see some of the things that are a little bit different from what it is before. And for people that haven't played this game, you can tell from Guild Wars 2, this is a lot different. There's a lot of stuff going on here that you wouldn't normally see in Guild Wars 2. For once, obviously, the level cap in Guild Wars 1 was level 20, which you reached very, very quickly, if I remember correctly. And yeah, what's this all about over here? In your basically, in Guild Wars 2 is pretty much like party based. The most you can have is 5 people, and there's only people around the world. I can make a team here of 8 people, and they're all my own heroes that I've all customized. If I go into my inventory tab, I can actually click on them, look, and I can change their weapons, which I have, and you can, they have different armors that you can give them and everything. I think Jorah's armors there is a bit different. She's got like a destroyer shield, which is a bit special and something. Go in there. But these are all almost like heroes that you meet throughout the campaigns in Nightfall and Eye of the North, which are the last 2 expansions for Guild Wars 1. And basically, when you go out into the world, you can change their skills and what they have. So, like, if I wanted to, I can change all their skills, or you can see their stuff working here. So that was that's one big change that I immediately realised going into Guild Wars 2, that you don't have like this. Guild Wars 1 was a much more squad-based build versus build sort of game, in terms of its PvE content at the very least. So yeah, that's one of the big differences there. And the other one, the big difference that you have, which I think Guild Wars 2 will eventually implement, is you've got hard mode, which you can select here. Basically what it does is it turns the each one of the instance maps and the dungeons and missions, it basically gives them like a harder version. And when I say harder version, a much, much harder version. You can probably clear through normal mode very easily without little trouble, but hard mode will offer you quite the trouble. I reckon that they will probably put hard mode in eventually in Guild Wars 2. I mean, it took quite a few years in Guild Wars 1 for hard mode to come about, but yeah, I like that. It's a nice little touch if you want to push yourself, and everything along those lines. There still is a few people. You can still see a few people walking around and everything, so there's still a few people around. It's not a completely dead game, but yeah, basically the way that this works, one of the things that you'll see here, if I just click on my skill bar, is that this game has a lot more skills. You can just see here, and they're not tied to your weapons like in Guild Wars 2. You basically purchase these, or you learn them from quest givers, or other means that they added in later on. Or you can get like elite skills here, like you see you've got an elite form here, Avatar of Gren. So you can capture these off of bosses, so you can get these I think I probably have one. No, I don't. But basically you have like a skill that essentially whenever you kill an elite boss, you'll have one of these elite skills. And if it's of your profession, which I'm Dervish, you can capture it off them. And one of the other things that's different in Guild Wars 2 though, as well, is that in Guild Wars 1 you can have a secondary profession, so I can actually have monk skills alongside. You can see all the different ones here. So I've got monk elementalist, monk ranger. I don't know why I have monk ranger. Necromancer monk, mesmer monk. I like having a lot of monk as second build just for this the extra little healing spells that they have. But yeah, that was one of the big changes that you could do from there. And you can see this is a lot different here. You've got this is pretty much like your trait system, I guess. So this is a lot more fleshed out in Guild Wars 2, but yeah, this is essentially the attribute points that you gain here from there. There's not really much that really you could do from here, because you get up to level 20 very quickly. Let's have a look through the other things. This is the overall inventory tab. There are a lot less armors that you can get really in Guild Wars 1. You kind of have to go for armor sets. I have like a mishmash of them at the moment. I don't know why. You know, you've still got your salvage kits and your tonics, and these are your weapons here that you've got. I have no idea why I have Kieran's bow as a bow for my character, when that just seems a bit silly. But like I said, this has been ages ago, so I you know, have to bear with me. I think green is the most rarest one that you can get, and I have a few green items here, which are pretty cool. So yeah, not too bad. Let's have a quick look at the Tyrian map. Anyway, this is the map of Guild Wars 1. As you can see here, it's a lot different. One of the main things you may realise is that this is where ore is here. And obviously that's sunken in Guild Wars 1, so you can't go there. But there's a lot of areas in Guild Wars 1 that you can go to, which you can't in Guild Wars 2. One of which is the Crystal Desert, and you can go a lot around here. You've got there's actual missions that you have to do here to ascend. I might go there and just show you a little bit in a second. There's also the Fire Island chain, which has got some missions there as well. And you can go here as well. That's early Ratasum there. It's nothing like it looks there in Guild Wars 2. But you can go higher into the Maguma jungle. One of the more interesting things as well is that you can go far north of Guild Wars 1 in Guild Wars 1 than you could ever do. It's kind of cut off here in Guild Wars 2, the map. But up here you can go up here. You've got this is where the Norn were driven out by Jormag. Jormag would have been up here. And basically, this whole entire area, if you look in the Guild Wars 2 map, is completely sunken. There's not really much land here, so pretty much all the Norn places that have been made, like Gunner's Hold is probably the main Norn area, has all been sunken, so there's not really much you could do there. But one of the cool things that you can do, you can go more into the Charred Bloodlands, and this is the Charred Bloodlands to the north that you can go and visit. There's the Cathedral of Flames. You may remember the Citadel of Flame. It's nowhere near. Well, it's kind of close, I'd say. It's kind of mishmashed, but yeah, that's what whenever I actually talk about the Citadel of Flame in Guild Wars 2, I always call it the Cathedral of Flames because I'm remembering this dungeon. So if I ever do that, if anyone's ever listened to me make that mistake, it's because I've been playing this game. So there you are. I'm sure there's a few areas here that I've missed. I know there's like a dungeon here that goes down, but most of the map is fairly open anyway from here. Here's Ascalon anyway. This is all completely different. This is while it's still under human control, and you've still got missions here. The way that Guild Wars 1 worked is that it was very similar to other MMOs, where you had quests that you can get, but you see these shields here, they basically start up instance missions, much like the personal story missions that you would get in Guild Wars 2, but you can have bonus objectives, and that's why if you've got one sword going through, you've done the main objective, but you had a bonus objective that you can complete, and you get both of them. So yeah, I think you get like a full achievement, which I have in the game. You get a title for doing all of the bonus mission objectives, and that's for all of the campaigns as well. So I'm just going to go to Ascalon City just quickly and just show you kind of what it looks like there. There's a lot of changes to some of the maps, but I will try and show you as much as I can because there is a lot. I fear this will become a long video. But as you remember, Guild Wars 1 takes place 250 years before the events of Guild Wars 2, and obviously there's a lot of changes in the Guild Wars 1 lore. There's very little sort of, apart from when Eye of the North started coming in, any sort of talk of the Elder Dragons or anything along those lines. So it's mainly about the Char being the main big baddies. That's why I think made the Char so interesting to play as in the second game, because they were just the main antagonists of at least the first campaign. So here is Ascalon City post Searing. I can show you early Searing, see what it showed there. But some of these characters you may recognise. They do come up in some of the I think Ascalon dungeon, Ascalon catacombs. You can see a few things coming up. But any of the towns that are in the game, it's basically the same as Guild Wars 2, but as soon as you go out into the explorable areas, so let's say I was going to go outside here, it's all instant, so you won't see other players out there, and then you basically be doing your normal missions. If I can find my missions, where are they? Maybe M, No. Okay, let me just try and find my... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's been so long since I played this game. Okay, quest log, L. So you can see I've still got loads of quests that I haven't done yet. There's a few that I need to turn in, but it's very similar to old MMOs or even current MMOs that are doing the quest system. And they really deviated from this plan with the second one, but it basically tells you where you can go. You can abandon the quest if you need to, but it's not really much point. But you can take as many as you want and do them as you go. So yeah, that was pretty much the system there. The way that it works in terms of your equipment is that basically it's much like, really, I guess, that Guild Wars 2's played it. Basically you can go to your Zunlai chest here, or go to your bank, if you will. The Zunlai are basically the bankers of Guild Wars 1, of Kaineng descendants. And you got your money here and everything, your material storage. I don't have that many because obviously I pretty much got rid of the majority of my stuff, trying to get the last few points I could in my reward calculator for Guild Wars 2. But yeah, there's a few cool things here that I've got here. Passages, scrolls, artifacts, totems, things that I just never really got around to using. There'll be like your consumables to give you better stats and stuff during a mission or something, and a few armor sets and tomes and everything. A few dies here, which I just built up over time because there isn't a trade post in Guild Wars 2. There's pretty much you pretty much basically have like a map channel. If I go here, a trade channel here. And basically you'd have to go through to one of the main cities of the game, which would be Lion's Arch or Kaineng City or Kamadan, and you basically just spam it there until someone came to you. So I think like a lot of people that play maybe had Guild Wars 1 sort of appreciate the trading post in Guild Wars 2 a bit easier, because you can just put something up there and then someone, you leave it there. You don't have to sit in game spamming for ages then negotiating, even though this game had a better trade function than Guild Wars 2. But yeah, this is essentially destroyed Ascalon while the humans are still in control. No ghosts as of yet. So yeah, you can see the Great Northern Wall here, which is pretty much destroyed. I think there's even a heart quest. You can see some of the bits here that you may recognise. They didn't change too much of the map really, so like a lot of this, round here is actually where I believe where Rin is. So this is where the Black Citadel would have been, which makes sense because with how the map comes out, so that's very good. Really not much else to show. I don't want to make the video too... Oh yes, go to Lion's Arch, which is quite interesting. This is Lion's Arch before it was destroyed by the tidal waves of ore, and then it was basically rebuilt as a pirate-free state. This is when the Crichton royal family or whatever who's in charge are still around, and they're still in control, and you've got the Lion Guard and everything. So yeah, this is Lion's Arch. It's not nearly as extravagant as Guild Wars 2's version, but it brings back a lot of memories because there'll be a lot of things. This is literally your entire market district here that you can go and get stuff from, festival hats and everything. Oh yeah, one of the other things that I forgot to show there, one of the things you may just picked up on, guild capes. This is something that they did not do in Guild Wars 2. I think it's because they found it hard to do with just the geometrics of how each player looks and how they move, in terms of their character models. But yeah, guild capes were a huge thing in this game. It'd be very rare that you'd see anyone without one, really, actually. But they were very much, you can emblazon them with really cool stuff, and they look pretty good. And you can make alliances with other guilds, which I thought was pretty cool. Look, my guild here, I haven't even really played for that much, is allied with all these other guilds. So you could speak via your alliance chat, and you can speak to all these guilds, which I thought was so useful, and something that I think that eventually they may do in the future, especially if they do guild housing, which I don't know if they do. I'll show you the guild housing after this actually, but yeah, let's do a quick tour of Lion's Arch anyway. No jumping in this game, and I'm not actually using the I can click where I want to go as well. That's a big difference in Guild Wars 2. There's no WASDing. We can, use the WASD keys, but I don't use them because it's just much easier just to click on on where you need to go. But yeah, this is pretty much it. There's not really much else to see in Lion's Arch. This is pretty much it. A lot of the other home cities in the other campaigns are more elaborate. And show a little bit more artistic design. You've got to think this was probably when this first released, it's probably about 7-8 years ago. So this isn't that bad, for that time anyway, especially for a non-subscription game. And so yeah, that's essentially all that thing. What I'll show you now is the guild hall system. So I'll just go and visit the guild hall. And guild halls was something that you had to earn a lot of money for, and basically you can purchase a guild hall, and you had several different skins, so you could have lots of runs. So this is the Isle of Meditation, but you could have a lot of different isles, and basically this was the base of GVG combat, and you could basically fight other guilds in your home combat area, and basically it's a lot like the PvP map in Guild Wars 2. I forget the name, so apologies. I think this might be the Battle for Kylo, I'm not sure, but it's the one where you can defeat the keep, the guild lord, and that way you get like a huge points boost. It was a lot like that, really. That's pretty much how it works. You have to burst through the defences, kill the henchmen, get to the guild lord sort of thing. But you can upgrade your guild hall. You can put sunlight chests, different vendors. You've got rare material trader over there, crafting material trader, festival hat keeper, faction rewards. You can do loads of stuff to beef it up as time goes on. Weaponsmith, all this stuff isn't here when you first get it, so you can basically unlock it. So you go along from there. But yeah, this was a nice little touch. I remember sometimes playing Guild Wars 1, having good guild parties and everything. Just chatting to your guild here, and just having some fun, just kind of relaxing on your own. And these maps are really well done. You see, you've got waterfalls here. I actually think this skin for a guild hall is actually better than the Lion's Arch skin that they went for, the map that they used for that. And there's a lot of good ones that they use, and I think they made more as the more campaigns went across, so you can choose them. This isn't the only skin. There's a few more. I'm sure if you YouTube Guild Wars 1 guild halls, you find other skins, and they're quite elaborate. And fun to do, especially for a big guild. You can pull your money together and get this, and once you've got everything unlocked, it's it's quite a good thing to show off. A lot of the bigger guilds would require this if you wanted to get even bigger. That's why you can pull people in. You say you have a full guild hall, and come here, do all this stuff, and talk to other guildies. So we'll leave the guild hall there quickly, and I'll show you some of the other maps that you may not have seen. One of the ones obviously is Cantha. Oh, before I go as well, because I play on Aurora Glade, I just have to show you this quickly. Bam! Aurora Glade was a mission in Guild Wars 1. I don't show a lot of you don't know that, but Aurora Glade was a place, and it is actually a mission that you go along, and you fight the White Mantle. It's not a very long one. If I remember, it's pretty easy to do. But yeah, that's the origins of the name of Aurora Glade. So yeah, any of my Aurora Gladians, that's where it came from. So anyway, let's go to Kaineng. And this is the start of the Canthan map. It's probably going to take me a little while. I haven't gone here yet. One of the other things I'm planning to show you when I go into the other map is that you've probably heard a lot of the stories of the lore about the gods and everything. You do actually battle a god in Guild Wars Nightfall, which is Abaddon, and I'll actually show you Abaddon. I think that's quite a fitting way to end this video anyway, to show you some of the cool stuff that you can do. Like I said, this is just showing some of the little mechanics and the little things that were different. It's not going full into what changed there before. Otherwise that video could take hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, because Guild Wars 1's campaigns were the story of them were a lot better in my opinion than Guild Wars 2, but Guild Wars 2's art style, combat, everything is just absolutely years ahead of this game, and for good reason, because this game was out for a very long time. So this is Kaineng anyway. This is the home city of the Canthan map. If I just come out here, here's the Canthan map, and basically if you started a character in the Canthan, because you can make new characters in each campaign, you'd actually get like a different starting area than you would in Interior, the continent. You'd actually have this, which I've explored with my character only just for the sake of it. But you would start here and you'd level up your guy before you took him here. But if you had a Tyrian character, they would be dropped off at Kaineng, and you'd start it kind of like 20% into the story, and that way, you know, because technically you're a foreigner, you're from Tyria, and you're coming down helping the Canthons to quell the afflicted uprising and the disease that's running rampant through the city. And yeah, I've done a lot of the missions here. As you can see, you've got the twin swords. But one of the other cool things that Guild Wars 2 has, which I actually miss a lot, is that what you could do is that as you're going through the story, you could pick a faction. You had the Luxons and the Kurziks, and basically you'd have different missions as you go through. I mean, you can go back and do the other factions' missions, but you wouldn't do them on your first playthrough, and basically you'd be helping them to fight back the other faction. That's why this campaign was known as Guild Wars Factions. And you see you've got a few areas here that you have like special PvP matches where you would fight the other group, and as you can see here that the Luxons are basically dominating the Kurziks, and you'd get faction boosts that you could essentially you could actually buy cities. So if you actually went to, let's go, I don't know if there's we see here, owned by this guild here. So you could actually buy cities, and they would be under your, not control, you couldn't like force people not to go in them, but like basically anyone that would go into it would see your guild basically flag up onto that place. Kavalan is quite a, so you'll need a lot of faction to control that. So yeah, there's a few guilds obviously still playing this, so there's a few places still with a lot of faction that you would need to take control of. But yeah, that was essentially factions. It was really cool that you can come in and basically you can do the story, but then you would kind of go into these factions. And I played a lot of Jade Quarry. You can get a lot of faction for your team. And basically, you can get different ranks. You can get faction-specific armor. That would be very like you have to, fight a lot for that faction to get there. I think one of my guildies got to full faction on Luxon, and you get like a special title and everything. So it's pretty groovy. A really good PvP type anyway. Especially as I didn't play that much PvP. It's sort of like, it's not really casual PvP, but it's very easy to get into and very fun. So that's the map there. I will go now into the Elonian map. Now, Elona is the place in Guild Wars 2 I would love them to go even more than Cantha. It's just my own preference. I know a lot of people want to go to Cantha first, but I think Elona makes more sense because it's connected to the Tyrian land, and I just really love this campaign. For me, the campaign and the story of this one was absolutely mind-blowing. They kind of went full Michael Bay on it, and they really did a lot in terms of like trying to build it up as a huge thing. And I mean, you fight a god, you fight a fallen god at the end of it. So in terms of like epic battles, there's not really much you can get bigger than that, really. And this is the Elona map. You can see here, if you were, if you were to start up on this campaign, you'd start up here. But if you come from Ascalon, you'd still start here, but you would very quickly go on to the main area here, which is Vabai Corner. This is Istan down here. And one of the cool things about this map is that it's there's a lot of. I know it's all like very themed in like almost like Cantha was. It's got its own theme that it adheres to, but there's a lot of cool areas that you can go to. Let's go to the vortex. Go through the vortex. Basically, what you can do, you can enter the realm of Torment, which is a very hard area to go into, and has a lot of very hard missions to go to towards the end of Nightfall that you can do. But this is essentially where you will fight Abaddon once you get to there, but there's also an explorable area that you can get into there. It's quite a big area that you can go through. Really, you've got these different areas here that you can go to. And this was I really like the way that they did this, because it's almost like you're going into hell itself to kill the biggest demon of all, which is Abaddon. And you can, everyone here is basically tormented souls, or the forgotten who are here, which are pretty cool. I do like all, the architecture here is a lot better than you can see like in the Guild Wars 1 campaign or anything, which is pretty good. Trying to think of some last things that I will put on there. Just going to look through some of the last things before I go and show you Abaddon and all of his glory, because I don't want, like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. But this is the hero screen. It's a lot different in Guild Wars 2. They kind of merged this with the inventory screen. You can see here that's pretty much. They kind of made everything tabbed down the side. But here you've got your Balthazar faction, which is your general PvP faction. You've got your Kurzik, Luxant, and Imperial. Imperial is just, I think they changed it in the end, that you can change, you get Imperial no matter what you do, and you can change it to Balthazar, Kurzik, or Luxant, just because then it was easier to get all the titles. And here's pretty much all the titles you can get. You got a lot here that I didn't even get into. If I actually go into my age of how much I played this, I've got 842 hours. I thought it was much more than that, but I've already gone over that. I've almost doubled that in Guild Wars 2, so you can tell that while I spent a lot of time on this game, I didn't spend nearly as time as I did in Guild Wars 2. So, but anyway, here's your titles. I've got Legendary Spear Marshal. You basically get points for clearing out areas. You've got Protector of Cantha, Protector of Tyria, that's for doing the bonus missions objectives, and you've got a few other ones here that you can do for getting certain points for each factions as you represent them fighting other monsters. You've got Slayer of Demons here, which is the Norn reputation points. You've got the Vanguard reputation points, the Lightbringer title. So there's a lot of those, but you've got the you've got Trailblazer, which is one thing which the Explorer titles are actually pretty cool. Where basically, if you were to explore every single % of the map, you would get like a title. And you can see people that had like Cartographer, and you can get Legendary Cartographer for people that have explored every little bit of all of the maps. And that would go towards your points for Guild Wars 2 as well. But that was a really sort of a huge thing. If you saw some of that, they had really gone for it as well. But yeah, this isn't impressive by any means, but yeah, it's not too bad there, and your account, that's just general anyway. So yeah, that's essentially the main changes from the game. I'll show you some of the fight. I'll fight Abaddon anyway. I'll probably die because I haven't played it in ages. Let me get my guys up. I've got 2 monks. Let's get... No, I won't bring Master of Whispers with me, there's no point. Gwen. But yeah, you can get some really cool teammates here, like Jory. You'll see her statue in Guild Wars 2 in the Norn areas. There's actually a mission where you stop the Sons of Svanir desecrating her shrine, so I think that's pretty cool. Gwen is the long family member, or basically she's the great grandmother or whatever of Logan. She's Gwen Thackeray is her full name. When she gets married, you've also got a husband, which I can put in my group. If I've got him unlocked, have I got him unlocked? I'm sure I did. Here we go, Kieran Thackeray. Okay, he's there. And yeah, they get married. You can do like an entire story where they actually get married. You have to help them get married. It was a little bit silly, but it was cool at the end of the game. And yeah, they begin the line that eventually leads to Logan. So you can hate her for that if you like, but I think that she's a much better character than Logan, because you actually meet her in pre-searing era, which is like a small section of Ascalon that is like completely changed. It has like a different skin on it and everything. It's like all nice and lush, green and lovely, even more so than Kryta is in Guild Wars 2. And yeah, you basically meet her there as a little girl, so you kind of see her kind of transformation from little girl to fearless char-killing machine, which is what she is. Let's put Hader in there. I'm not sure of the builds that I've got on these guys, so who else will I put? Let's put Zed in. There you go, 8 out of 8. So yeah, you can, like I said, you can change all their builds and everything, which is really cool because it's all, as I said, squad based. I'm probably going to go die Abaddon because I haven't even played this for ages, but let's go and do Abaddon anyway. And yeah, there was a lot of big changes there from Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2. There's a lot of things that I think that maybe they should go back on. Like, I don't know why they didn't do guild halls. That seems like such a big thing. Even if they didn't want to... Wow, that is very loud. Just bring all that down. Even more so, I think. There we go. Yeah, so like the guild halls, everything like that, I think they should bring back. I like the fact that they toned down the amount of skills that you have, because you end up basically, a lot of people weren't really experimenting with builds towards the end of the game. There was only a few that were very useful. So with that in mind, there was only a few builds that people tend to go with. So like builds didn't really end up becoming a huge thing. People would experiment from time to time, or I remember one time they changed all the dervish skills, so I had to make an entire new dervish build. But yeah, I'm glad that they changed it. I like the way that they did the skills in Guild Wars 2, so I'm glad about that. The level cap, I'm glad that they increased it, because you really got to level 20 really quickly. It put a lot of people off. I know a lot of people, you know, they shouldn't be looking just to get to level 8 and then they think they've done the game, because that's not the case. But I think a lot of people sort of thought that they got level 20. Really, the game in Guild Wars 1 started when you got to level 20. That's when you could start really going into your character and start figuring out really good builds, all the builds of all of your teammates, and everything like that. But let's get into it anyway, before I ramble on, because I will ramble on for hours and hours and hours. Why did I do this? I'm now going to Embark Beach. Okay, I just ruined it there. It will take me a while to get back, so... Embark Beach, anyway, was basically an area to kind of consolidate everyone at the end of Guild Wars 1. It basically shows you... it gives you all the dailization challenges, which is essentially Guild Wars' version of dailies. And it was essentially a way for everyone to kind of get together. And I remember when they actually released like the Commando. If you actually look on the Guild Wars page, they did like a Guild Wars 2 page. They did a joke profession reveal where they revealed the Commander, or the Commando, sorry, which is basically like a really sort of like Call of Duty clone sort of thing, you know. And they actually had like a mission in Guild Wars 1 where you could go and talk to him and you'd become a commando class for a little while. I thought it was brilliant. It was a lot of fun. And he actually had like a helicopter and everything. They came with a story that he came from a different dimension, but he had like an attack helicopter. It was absolutely ludicrous, but it was really, really fun. Right, let's go talk to Keeper Sharish. No, I'm not going to go with 4 people. Let's go Gwen, Zed, Raza. Who else did I have? Hader, didn't I? Okay, there we go. We're going to face Abaddon. We are ready. So yeah, this is essentially how the missions worked in Guild Wars 1. You would basically talk to him. It would basically start up like an instance mission, almost like the same, like I said, in like the personal story. That's pretty much the closest that I can get to it. But here we go. So right, I haven't done this in a while. But basically the combat is different for each of the classes. I obviously don't have the time to go through it there now, but you still have like an adrenaline system. You have mana in this game, which you don't have really in Guild Wars 2. You don't have it at all really. I think the closest thing that you may have to it is probably like initiative for thieves. That's pretty much the same thing, that, you know, over time you can get mana back by certain skills or something along those lines. No voice acting, of course. You know, you get voice acting. I think this area needed the voice acting. But yeah, this is basically the end. Spoilers, by the way. If you haven't played Guild Wars 1, I doubt you will have by this point anyway. Or if you know, basically you know what happens if you play Guild Wars 2. But yeah, let's go fight this thing anyway. Why not? Let's just do that. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he looks pretty mean, doesn't he? He was really impressive looking beastie in Guild Wars 1. I really like his battle anyway, so I'm just going to try. I don't even know what half my skills do. As far as I remember in this anyway, you need to take down these guys so that basically stop him being chained up. Because you can see he's got chains there, and you chain him up. And then you have to attack him. But at the same time, he's putting loads of conditions on you and your team. Which is pretty much why you always need at least 2 healers on every group. That was pretty much it. If you didn't have 2 healers in a group, you're pretty much screwed. So I don't know why I'm not attacking. Here we go. Right, then you've got to do the final seal, which is his face, and then you can do a bit of damage to him. The first stage of this is really easy. It's when it gets hard afterwards, because then he starts stacking loads of damage on you. I don't know how good my healers are, because I haven't played for them. Okay, so now I've got him. There you go, now I can attack Abaddon himself. But you can only obviously do a little bit of damage, so you fight him here, he's really damage, he's weak. I'm not doing that bad, I think. I'm going to say that now, I'm going to end up dying. I know the first bit's really, really easy, so... But you'll actually notice a lot of similarities, I think, with Guild Wars 2, the way that they have it now, because... oh, right, we need to go. because he slams down and does a pretty decent attack. I'm surprised I remember this much, actually, to be fair. Yeah, like, apart from the jumping mechanic, like, it kind of looks the same. You can't really move in combat, like you said. You can't really move like you did in Guild Wars 2. Like I said, the whole combat of that was really well done, so right, okay, we're getting a lot of monoliths on here now. Okay, but you get like morale boosts here. That was a big thing. When you die in Guild Wars 1, you basically get you get revived in the same area, but you have you get a death penalty issued to you. So, you know, if you defeat bosses or anything along those lines, then you will unlock a boost, so my health and my mana has been increased. Let's see if we can take all these guys out. I really should have started up the final mission again for a little while to be small. But yeah, I mean, while I'm doing this, leave a comments and everything if maybe you were a player of Guild Wars 1 and you like this all different to you or anything like that. Dear, there's a Torment Claw over there. More favourite models. See, this is now where I think I'm probably going to end up failing because I don't really know what I'm up to now. But those Torment Claws are bastards. They really do a lot of damage. That should see it. There we go. Right, let's attack. But essentially, this battle will get harder. I remember fighting this guy the first stop, Abaddon. Obviously, he is unfallen. But yeah, this was a lot harder than it was. I've beaten him a few times now because he gets easier the more you get the right builds and everything to him. But yeah, the first time that you fight him, it's pretty impressive. Because, I mean, the bosses that you fight beforehand, like you fight the Undead Lich in Guild Wars, the first campaign, Flame Six Prophecies. But, like, he isn't that, like, huge or anything. You can fight a few of the Titans and everything, but there isn't really much difference. But in this one, this is like a huge boss that you fight. Oh, ow, okay. But even in factions, you would fight Shira Tagaki, which is, in my opinion, is like for first-time fights. That's a harder fight, but this one has got a lot of awe to it, you know. And it really like Nightfall was the first campaign that I hugely got into Guild Wars because I really like this. Team having a few problems now. See, I've got a guy that's down now, so what will happen basically is that you can actually revive. You can revive people. I'm using a lot now. I'm dead. Okay, so basically what I need to now, I'm probably going to fail this now, but essentially you'd need to have your healers. Your healers have revive skills. See, they can resurrect your teammates, but it does take a lot of mana and a lot of time to do that. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to lose it. But yeah, there's a little bit of combat there for you in Guild Wars 1 anyway. Showed you a bit of the combat there. I didn't manage to beat Abaddon, but I didn't expect to because I haven't played this in so long. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Leave a like if you like looking back on Guild Wars 1 and the differences of the game. And you see where Guild Wars 2 has come from in comparison. No wonder I died. I had 2 Torment Claws here. Oh, okay. This isn't gonna end well. You know what? I'm probably just gonna finish. Yeah. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. Any questions that you had on the original game, I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best of my abilities. But yeah, I'm hoping to do a few more videos as time goes on. If you know from my last video I did, time isn't really in my favour. I kind of only just salvaged like 40 minutes to go and do this video. But if you did enjoy it, leave a like, and yeah, I hope to speak to you guys soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.